There is no glory without scars. Blue and gold, we fight hard. And they know.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Dose of Leprechauns. We are here this morning in the studios of 5 Round MMA. I am Leprechaun Jason, and I'm joined by
Leprechaun Nate.
And we have a great show once again lined up today. This morning, we're going to jump right into our program. We have a call-in interview with one of the great slot receivers from Notre Dame. Back in the 2012 season, helped us get to the national championship game. We're joined this morning by number 9, the Flying Hawaiian, Robby Toma. Robby, how you doing this morning?
Hey, how's it going? I appreciate that kind intro.
Hey, so first off, we just want to say, congrats on the engagement. Looks like you got yourself a nice girl there, and wish you all the happiness.
I appreciate it. It was a great time. We had a lot of friends and family out there. A lot of people that I grew up with, made it all possible. So definitely appreciate it.
That's awesome, man. That's good things happening to good people. We like to see that. So we're going to just ask you a few questions. You obviously had a storied career at Notre Dame. Everybody knows about you. Everybody knows, what you brought to the table. And, we miss seeing you in the blue and gold, obviously. But when it came to your recruiting, what are some other schools that recruited you? Obviously, you landed with Notre Dame, but were there other schools that were giving you a look? I mean, obviously in Hawaii, I'm not sure how much exposure you really get, but what were some other schools that were giving you a look?
I had UCLA, Cal Berkeley, University of Hawaii, Utah, just, some of the schools on the West Coast. But my recruiting was a little different than, other people. Obviously, my best friend being Manti. So it was a little tough for me to decide where I was going to go because I wasn't really sure what schools were in it for me or what schools were in it for Manti. So, I'm not sure if you guys remember. Obviously, it was, 7-8 years ago or however long ago it was. But, I signed a few days, even maybe a week after signing day. So I had a conversation with, a bunch of coaches. Some of those schools pulled away after Manti. I didn't sign with them. So, I had a conversation with Coach Weiss. I told him, you guys already have Manti. Do you, if you really want me for me? And Coach Weiss, he made it known throughout the recruiting process that he had, coached Wes Welker, and he believed in me, and that meant a lot to me, and ended up being the best decision I ever made.
That's awesome, and I think it's important to note that although you were best friends with Manti and you played high school football with him and everything, you were recruited for your skills. I think that you had plenty of offers you could have taken. It's not like you were only recruited in Notre Dame because Manti chose Notre Dame. You chose Notre Dame after Manti chose Notre Dame. So I think it's important to note that because I think that's a misconception out there. But we have some friends that are pretty heavily involved in recruiting, and they stand by the fact that you had, like you said, offers from a lot of big name schools, and you chose Notre Dame because of what Notre Dame is, not because your buddy went there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is tough. I understand that college coaches want to try to get the best player they can, and they'll pretty much do whatever they can. I'm not talking about Notre Dame. I'm just talking about the NCAA in general. And so it was tough for me as a 17, 18-year-old who, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but, I did have a good high school career, and, I was able to go to the Under Armour game. And so it was a tough, it was a tough time for me and my family, just trying to figure out, who really wanted me for me and what was going to be the best decision. And, luckily, the good Lord gave me an opportunity at Notre Dame, and, that's just something that you can't pass up.
Absolutely. You mentioned that Coach Weiss recruited you. What was the biggest difference you noticed when in playing for Coach Weiss versus Coach Kelly?
Obviously the pace. And, it started out a little shaky when Coach Kelly first got in there because none of the guys that were there were his guys,
Right.
So, it was a learning process for us all, and that includes Coach Kelly. And I think as the years went on, we started growing on Coach Kelly, and by the time it was our senior year, and we had the ball rolling, time flew by, and the difference between the coaching styles obviously is completely different. Coach Weiss coming from the NFL. He ran things a little bit differently. Coach Kelly came from Cincinnati. So he was kind of more, college based, and he got a lot of things done, as training table and whatnot. So it was just different in styles, really.
Nice. Okay.
What motivated you to come to the Irish?
I'm sorry, what motivated me to come to the Irish?
Yeah.
Growing up, I didn't know a ton about the University of Notre Dame, except, obviously everybody's seen the movie Rudy. I didn't know a whole lot about it, and Coach Weiss, and I'm not sure if you guys remember Brian Polian. I believe he's the head coach at Nevada right now. He flew down almost weekly to meet with Manti, and I got to know him very well and went over a lot of film with them. They came to a bunch of our practices, and I got really comfortable with Coach Polian, and they offered me when I got back from the Under Armour game, and I was shocked because I was a UCLA commit at that point, and just the fact that I was able to get to know them on a personal level, and I spoke to Coach Weiss a whole lot, and it was just it was real family orientated, and they say it's a 40-year plan as opposed to a 4-year plan, and I really bought into that because I knew for myself that football wasn't going to last forever, and it was just something that I wanted to do to give me the best opportunity for when I was done with football.
Nice. So one of the things I wanted to talk about when you first agreed to come on is back in 2012 with that historic run you guys had. Started off great with a huge blowout win over Navy over in Ireland. One of my favorite plays that I can remember of your career is when you scored that touchdown toward the end of the game against Navy. So was that an audible that Everett called, or was that a play that you guys have been practicing, or how did that come about? Because I was kind of shocked to see you back there and then get to run it in. I mean, it was awesome. I went crazy. But how did that come to be?
Well, what a lot of people didn't know is that during spring ball leading up to the 2012 season, we had a bunch of injuries with the running backs, and we were kind of scrambling for backs, and I told Coach Kelly, I'm like, hey, I can play running back. I played it, growing up, and so they gave me pretty much all of spring. I was running with the running backs, and in scrimmages, I got a chance to carry the ball a couple times, and then we went into the Ireland game, and Theo was out, and George had a little issue, I think, and then Cam actually went down with an ankle injury. So we were kind of in our last drive of the series, and Cam was down, and everyone was scrambling, and I was like, Coach, I'm right here. Let's do it. So they were like, Toma, what play do you want to run? I asked for a toss or a stretch just because I was trying to stay out of the middle. But Coach Martin, who was our OC at the time, he was like, run. I think it was 23, which is kind of an inside run, and I was able to cut back. And when I got back to the sideline, they were like, I told you you'd love that play. I was like, I guess you're right.
You just get behind Zach and run it in there, or who'd you get behind?
Well, I was actually behind it was the second team O-line, so I remember Nick Martin was in there, and a couple of the younger guys were in there. So, I was able to get some of their first touchdowns. So it was pretty awesome.
That's cool, man. I appreciate you sharing that, because that was a really cool moment. That whole game was just. I remember Nathan and Leprechaun Nate and I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, California time, to do our little pregame thing and then get ready for the game, and we were going crazy at like 4:30 in the morning, because it was so early. But it had to be a cool experience.
Yeah, no, that's another special thing about Notre Dame. They try to take us to heights we could never have imagined, and playing in Ireland and even getting a chance to score a touchdown in that stadium is something that I'll definitely hold on forever.
So getting into big games, I mean, obviously the 2012 season was a magical season, very special season. Came up a little bit short against a team that probably could have been beating NFL teams. But what was it? What was it like to play in the national championship game? On everybody in the world watching. Notre Dame already has millions of people watching every Saturday and whenever they play. But what was it like playing on the biggest stage in college football against, having probably the two most storied programs in the history of college football going at it head to head? What was that like?
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously the outcome was a huge letdown, but just looking back on it now, a few years out, it's just that entire season leading up to that game was just unbelievable. And as soon as we landed, Coach Kelly actually had me address the media, which was a huge honor for me. And I was the only guy that he chose to speak to the media. So. It's just little things like that you remember. You don't necessarily remember the plays of the games or anything like that. It's the moments that, really you carry. And, like I said, it was a huge bummer, but it was a huge learning experience for Notre Dame to see the kind of level of football that we need to be playing week in and week out.
Absolutely. So, you guys started that season unranked, as a lot of people know. And then obviously things changed quickly as you started knocking off one opponent after the other. Was there a moment where you guys all kind of knew, like, this is going to be something special, this is going to be a year that maybe is different than others? Because as Notre Dame fans, I mean, I've been waiting 26 years now to finally rub it in my friends' faces that Notre Dame is back and we win a national championship. So, but was there a time that you guys as players and coaches knew that, hey, this is a team that can really go all the way and do some special things?
Well, I remember before the season, I had a conversation with a couple of the older guys. I'll leave their names out of it, but they were like, Toma, what do you think you guys are going to go this year? And I was like, I think we can go 10-2, just based off looking at the schedule.
Sure.
And they started laughing. They're like, no way, you guys are going to go 5-7, or they're just it's like the older guy hazing, and and then it just kept going. Game after game, we just kept pulling it out. And then the Pitt game was a grind, and the guy, that kicker missed a field goal in overtime, and that's when we were kind of like, all right, this is special, and we just kept winning. And I'm not sure if the Oklahoma game was before or not, but that was another one where at the beginning of the season, you look at that game and you're like, oh man, it's at Oklahoma. And then we go in there and we pretty much gave it to them. So
yeah.
It was just the entire season we took it 1 week at a time, and that was the beauty of our team that year. But we never got ahead of ourselves, and we never got too high, and we never got too low.
Sure. Yeah, I remember I was at the SC game, and when they clinched, it was just pandemonium. There were probably more Notre Dame fans there that year than there were SC fans, which was incredible to me because usually, being out here in SoCal, you go to that game and you're like, you're getting cups thrown at you and stuff as you walk out. I mean, I don't do a good job of keeping my mouth shut, but either way. But seeing that game in person and being there for that goal line stand when you guys stopped them 4 times in a row, and just I knew at that point that it was going to go our way, and the outcome is what it was, but nothing can take away what you guys did that year. It was just an incredible season. So
absolutely, and even I think they got more than 4 tries. They had a
false start.
No, was it a PI on Tavari? They called, which
that's right.
Gave them another first down. So things like that leading up to the game made us feel kind of invincible.
Sure.
Which made the loss against Alabama that much more heartbreaking, because just everything was going right all season, and then for lack of a better term, to kind of get punched in the mouth by Bama, that was definitely a tough pill to swallow. Still having a tough time swallowing it nowadays.
Same here, man.
What was one of your favorite games in high school and college?
I apologize. I could barely hear you.
What was one of your favorite games in high school and college?
My favorite high school game, we were playing our rival, the St. Louis Crusaders, and our coach, all week we had a play for me that I would motion from the other side of the field and run a corner route. And for some reason, I motioned over, and instead of running a corner, I just ran a go route, and ended up having about an 80-yard play on the first play from scrimmage. Excuse me. first play from scrimmage, and the whole game was just, I never beat St. Louis my entire high school career, and for the last time I played them, I think I had like 300 all-purpose yards or something along those lines, and like 4 touchdowns. So that was definitely my favorite high school game, and probably my favorite college game that I played in, just on a personal level, would be the Tulsa game my sophomore year, which not the outcome, but just the fact that I had waited my turn in line all season, and I finally got the nod to play, and I did very well, and I got to see a lot of playing time after that game, and it was one of my prouder moments because I was on the bench all game, and right before half they threw me in there, and I ended up finishing the game and almost starting the rest of the season. So it was just college was tough because you go from high school being the star of the team to having to eat a slice of humble pie and having to wait your turn. So the Tulsa game was the first game that I really got to see some live action, and I was able to open the eyes of the fans as well as the coaching staff.
Absolutely. So Robby, we know you went on to get a little stint and a little tryout with the Arizona Cardinals back after you graduated, but I know that didn't go your way as well as you had hoped. But what are you up to now? What do you have going on? I know you obviously graduated from Notre Dame, so that's the 40-year decision that everybody talks about. So what's Robby Toma up to now?
Absolutely. So I after Arizona, I waited a little bit. I trained, and I got a great opportunity to work for Universal Property and Casualty, which is a homeowners insurance company. I work as a claims adjuster. I started out in Hawaii, but we don't have a ton of business in Hawaii. We're based out of Florida, so in February of last year, they moved me to Florida and kind of trained me up a little bit more, and now I'm out in Indianapolis. I'm the only claims adjuster for our company out here. So
nice.
John Goodman, who's a great friend of mine, who was
wide receiver
for us. He's our marketing rep out here in Indiana. So him and I are kind of taking the bull by the horns and really trying to do what we can in the corporate world now.
Sure. Do you guys go back on campus a lot for games? Have you been back, or are you planning on going back?
Yeah, I go back. The last 2 years I've probably been to 10 home games. So, I try to make it a point to drive up there as much as I can.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, that's all we have for you this morning, Robby. We really, really appreciate the time and coming on and taking time out of your day to join us on the Dos Leprechauns podcast.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Take care. Go Irish.
Thanks, go Irish.
Now meet the legend that is us, Notre Dame. We stand together, and that's not gonna change. We're family.
All right, we're back for our second segment. This is Leprechaun Jason.
Leprechaun Nate.
And our second guest this morning is joining us all the way from the warm and I'm sure very cozy Green Bay, Wisconsin. We have Notre Dame recruiting guy, Michael Sullivan. Michael, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
We're doing great. Thanks for coming on. I know, through following you on Twitter and Facebook and everything, that you are kind of my go-to when it comes to any recruiting news I need to know about. When we were trying to figure out where Demetrius Robertson was going to go, I kept following you to see if you had any updates. Still can't believe he went to Cal, man. What that seems a little fishy to me, but I'll just leave that there. We got a couple questions for you that our fans sent in, and then if you want to kind of just update fans on, what's going on in the Notre Dame recruiting circles, who are some guys that we're looking at, who are some guys that maybe could be some unexpected surprises next March during signing day.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest questions, and I kind of have to agree with this question. I mean, obviously we've had some good to really good defensive linemen in Notre Dame the last couple of years, but why does it seem like Notre Dame continues to miss out on some of the elite defensive tackles?
Even with defensive ends, that's like everyone keeps asking that, and every recruiting service, scout, rivals, that's like the $1 million question that everyone gets asked, and I don't really know if there's is an exact answer for it. it's just one of those things where Notre Dame, they go out there top guys, but if you want to go and get these elite defensive linemen, a lot of them are down south or out in California, and Notre Dame does a really good job recruiting California, but it's just one of those things where, we get Dalen Hayes this year who's going to help out defense class. We'll ever get 3 5-stars like we did with Eshak, Williams, Stefantu and Aaron Lynch. But, I know Notre Dame recruits them. They go after them. They got a lot of them on campus. It's just one of those things where, it's tough to close the deal. And I think they do, they do a really good job with, recruiting all the other, along the defense. The defensive secondary was huge. I was very surprised how well they recruited the defensive backfield this year. There was a lot of guys who, might be flying under the radar in a lot of these services, but, these are big-time players. Troy Pride was very underrated this year, and then I think 247 bumped him into their top 247. I think Rivals made him a 4-star, and then, Devin Studd still, it's just one of those things where same high school as Tavon Coney, the staff, he might have been the top safety on the board, and the staff really wanted him. Yeah. Right from the start, he might have been the top guy on the board. But, going back to the defensive line, I think it's one of those things where, they're going to keep going after these top guys. They got, for the invasion this year, they got a lot of top guys coming on for a lot of the guys they want. Robert Beal's coming back onto campus. Hunter Echoes is coming to campus for the first time. He's a UCLA commit. Corey Malone-Hatcher, who's Notre Dame's, I think, had him up here now 40 times, something like that. He's going to be back on campus. They got a 4-star at Alabama with Alabama offers and Auburn offers with SEC and LeBron Ray. Drew Jordan's going to be on campus. He's another 4-star. Jonathan McCalster, who was one of Parker Boudreaux's teammates this past season, is going to be on campus. 3-star defensive end, Cortez Alston. And then we got a Michigan commit, 2018 class, Leonard Floyd's going to be on campus. They're getting these kids on campus. I think it's just about closing the deal, and, I think it's one of the things where if they can land Robert Beal, I think a lot of people will get him back in fold. I think a lot of people will, those questions will start to go away a little bit. But they just got to keep chipping away at these guys, and I think they do a good job with that, and they need to continue with that.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of put a final note on that is that, stars are only, they're only stars in high school. I mean, those 5-star rankings, we know really well with recent history how those stars don't necessarily add up to success on the field. I mean, we've had Sheldon Day was only a 3-star guy, and he turned out to be one of the better Notre Dame defensive linemen in the last 20, 30 years. So,
you're absolutely right.
Obviously, you want to get those 5-star studs out of South Carolina and Alabama, all these places. But at the end of the day, if you get a kid that's a 3-star that turns out to be a stud like Sheldon Day, I think you're developing players the way they need to be developed. So,
exactly.
Question I have for you, and this is something that I'm so pumped about this class. I think it was highly underrated. I think Stud Still, you mentioned, he's going to continue to trend up. I mean, he's pushing max for the starting safety spot, not even through spring ball. And you got guys that haven't even come on campus yet that are probably going to make some sort of impact. But in your opinion, with this 2016 class, who do you see having the biggest impact on the field this year to help Notre Dame win some games?
Well, like you said, I can't see a scenario where they're going to bench a 3-year starter, Max Redfield, over a true freshman Devin Studstill to start against Texas. I think that's more of a wake-up call for Max Redfield more than anything, which I hope the light finally clicks with him. But going back to your question, I really think we'll see how Dalen Hayes' shoulder continues to heal and stuff like that. But, I mean, that's one guy you got to look at. I mean, he can just wow you in certain areas. But we'll see how the right guard position develops. I think Tommy Kramer could come in and play early. Maybe, there's some talk, behind the scenes that he might even push for starting time, which I have a hard time seeing. But, he's one of those guys where, 6'5", 309. Can't.
Uh-oh.
I always want, if he can line up that outside, he can make an immediate impact passing, getting off the edge and creating a pass rush. But the one guy that I really look at who's talking about is outside of the strong safety position. You got Avery Sebastian and Drew Tranquil. Who knows how well his knee will recover? But my favorite player in this class was Jalen Elliott, and if he can really come in and learn the playbook and understand what the defense expects out of him at the strong safety position, I think Jalen Elliott can be a heck of a player, and I really think that he was the most underrated recruit we signed all year. And just watching him on film, the guy's a true leader and everything about that. I really, really like Jalen Elliott. I think he could one. Everyone looks at Javon McKinley too, and there's just so many talented receivers on this roster right now. I see him playing, but I don't know if I see him having quite the impact that some of these guys will have. Then you look at your pass rushers. You're going to get some from Julian Aquara this year. That's a question you got to, we got to create a pass rush.
Yeah.
All that other stuff like that. James Jones, can he come in and play and, on third downs and create a pass rush? And then, I think the one guy that, surprised me more than anything was Kevin Stephenson. I thought everyone said he just had an unreal spring, maybe the fans of the team, and the kick and flat fly. I don't think he's got Will Fuller speed, but, he's probably just a notch below Will Fuller in terms of speed. So I think he can come in and play right away. Maybe he's the starting punt returner, maybe the starting kick returner against Texas. We'll see about that. You always wonder having a true freshman back there in his first game, see how he reacts. But, if they say he's got ice in his veins, and we'll see how he continues to develop, but I really like him as a person. But to answer your question, I think it's going to be Jalen Elliott. I think, we'll see how Drew's knee comes out, and, Avery Sebastian's like, we'll see, and Jalen Elliott can cover, so we'll see how that works.
There's a couple guys, one guy that you mentioned that I'm incredibly excited about. Before I mention who those guys are, I want to say that one of my favorite things about this class, and I can't remember this ever happening in my years following recruiting, not one of these guys wavered on their commitment to Notre Dame. When they signed their letter of intent, when they said they were going to be Irish, they became Irish. They put their letter in early. Ian Book, all these guys, all of them they're all Irish. So I think that speaks a lot for what's going on in South Bend right now with Kelly and Sanford and all these guys. So I think beyond pumped about this class. But my two favorites in this class, you mentioned one of them, Javon McKinley. I had a chance to see him play in high school at Corona Centennial, which is only about 15 minutes from where I live. Dude he's a freak. I'm telling you, he reminds me of, he's got Corey Robinson kind of size, but he's got hands. He goes up and gets the ball. He goes up to the point of the ball, catches it, brings it in tight to his body. He is a beast, and I think he'll play right away. I really do. I think when he gets on campus, people are going to be shocked. And then the other guy is kind of the cult favorite, I guess you'd say. Son of a gun, we lost him. Let's see here.
Are you on the Wi-Fi with your phone?
Yeah. Mike, you there?
Sorry, man. Yeah, I think we lost connection. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was talking about McKinley, but anyways, the other guy that I'm excited about that's kind of become kind of a cult hero, and I just absolutely love this dude. Everything about him is Parker Boudreaux. Kid is a beast. I think I should get some credit, maybe some sort of royalties going on with nicknaming him Baby Brock. I nicknamed him that the first time I saw him, even before he committed. Looks dead like Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar has an illegitimate son out here, it's Parker Boudreaux. But for him, and then just to make it even better for me, probably my second favorite player ever at Notre Dame is Chris Zorich. And I don't know if you saw, but he ended up getting number 50. He's going to wear 50 just like Zorich did. So I just love it.
He's definitely a badass like Zorich, too.
He is, and he I've heard that he at least listens to some of the shows. So, Parker, if you're listening, we love you. We know you're going to have a great career at Notre Dame. So, excited to have him on campus. So, the other guy I'm really excited about besides Parker, obviously Devin Studstill, but Dalen Hayes, man. And it's not just because of the badass Bleacher Report recruiting video that he did, even though I've watched that probably 500 times. He seems like a difference maker on this team if he can stay healthy. So, hoping we can see him come off the edge and get in the quarterback's face a little bit. But yeah, overall, this class is just going to be incredible. So anyways, with that, Mike, what else you got? What else should Notre Dame fans be excited about with the invasion and some other things coming up?
Yeah, the invasion, it seems like we just keep adding another 4-star or 3-star, guy coming every week, every day. But, it's very, very impressed with the invasion this year. We're not really going to have too many guys coming on campus here shortly. We just had Jalen Kelly-Powell on campus. We had Ambry Thomas on campus, But the Irish invasion, we're still probably a little over a month away, and it's just a loaded list. You got 5-star Baron Browning coming in from Texas. You got 5-star Robert Beal coming in Georgia, who's going to play at IMG this year. Hunter Echoes, who's a UCLA commit. You got Corey Mullen-Hatcher, who's pretty big lead, but continue to do that. LeBron Bray, who's pretty big lean to Alabama right now, but he's coming to campus. Then you get your quarterback Avery Davis back on campus. You get Isaiah Roberson back, Pete Warner, just all these commits we get back on campus. And I thought the 2018 class is for the invasion is pretty good too. You get Leonard Taylor, who's one of the top players on Notre Dame's board for the 2018 class. You get Marquise Stepp, who might be the number one running back from Notre Dame right here in Cathedral High School. Houston Griffith, whose dad played in the NFL, and he's a guy that Notre Dame really wants after, Ohio State's already offered, so that's going to be a battle there. Malik Vaughn out of Ohio, he's going to be on campus, and, hopefully we can get Pete Jurkovic, excuse me, Pete, back on campus and for the invasion to toss around. But I know he'll be back on June, and I don't think you can express enough how big of a commit that was for Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you go out and get top 10 player in the whole country, and you get them out of guys like Clemson wanted, Alabama wanted, Ohio State wanted. That's just a huge win for Notre Dame, and it just kicks off its 2018 class. I really don't think it kicked off any better. I know Trevor Lawrence is number one QB for 2018, but Phil Jurkovic, he's not that far behind. He's just got unlimited potential to be as good as he wants to be if he just continues to go.
Yeah,
so,
and I'm really hoping
the invasion's coming.
I'm hoping he sticks with it too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I think I don't have any concern with that. A lot of people bring up the whole Blake Barnett thing, and I think there's a little bit more that went on the Blake Barnett recruitment under the that people don't really know about. But I don't know if that just ever was going to work out, which is some of the things that were going on outside of everything that went on. But Jurkovic seems like a great kid. He took his visits everywhere. Blake Barnett basically visited Notre Dame and then committed to Notre Dame. That was it. But visited Ohio State. He's visited Penn State a bunch of times. I think he really realized that Notre Dame was a place he wanted to be, and I can't really see him flipping unless Stanford leaves for head coaching gig, or I know Brian Kelly's going to be here next year, the year. So I don't think Notre Dame fans have anything to worry about there.
All right. Well, hey, Mike, sorry we got to cut you a little bit short, but we ran a little bit over. I really appreciate the insight, and we want to try to see if we can get you on regularly to update folks on the recruiting. I know you and I talk a lot, so I loved having you on, love the insight, and I know you follow it heavily, and you're really my go-to guy for recruiting all things Notre Dame. So thank you very much for the time, and we'll get you on in another couple weeks.
Awesome, man. Can't look forward to it. Go Irish.
All right, brother. Go Irish.
No, we are Notre Dame. Hey, yeah. There is no glory without scars. Blue and gold, we fight hard. And they know
All right, we are
who
back
we
with
are.
our final segment this morning. Once again, this is our WWE wrestling segment. Nate, you're going to lead us off on this one. This is your expertise, so we're going to have you kind of get us going on this.
Okay, first match of the night is the kickoff show, pre-match, whatever the heck it's called. It's Ziggler versus Baron Corbin, and it's a no DQ match.
This is for Extreme Rules, right?
Yeah, Extreme Rules tonight. Today's Sunday, May 22nd. We got Extreme Rules tonight, WWE. So, once again, kickoff match. I probably won't even watch. We'll go get food during this match, but
I asked the question, what's the difference between a no DQ match and an Extreme Rules match?
who knows, man? The difference is this is the new era or whatever they're calling it. So there's not going to be any hardcore stuff going on, nothing extreme. Corbin will probably win some sort of heel tactic. I don't know, but who cares? I'm tired of this match already. I'm tired of talking about it.
Nate, what about you?
Corbin will tie it up 1-1, and then next night on Raw, Ziggler versus Corbin, and Ziggler wins, and then the feud's over.
Look at you guys do WWE, man. Exposing the kids to 50-50 booking, man.
Exactly.
Come on.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Corbin will probably win, then Ziggler get his revenge, and then that'll be the end of it.
So next up, I'm actually somewhat intrigued by this just because of what my theory on what's going to happen afterwards. It's the Kalisto, which he just needs to go away, versus Rusev, who's kind of getting a little bit of heat coming back as one of the top heels, which he should have been to begin with.
Which is good.
Which is great for the U.S. title. I think Rusev gets the title back, and then I think what's going to happen, I'm just going to call it right now, I think that he's going to jump Kalisto after the match, and then I think you're going to get the Cena music to hit, and he's going to come down, and it's going to set up the Cena versus Rusev Part 2 feud going on.
Nate,
No, they're
Nate shaking his
gonna.
head.
Somehow I want them to shape it up to be for the Intercontinental Championship. That's the only title he hasn't won.
Oh, God.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all point to that Rusev versus Cena, because I don't think they want to throw Cena back into the main title yet.
Yeah,
trying
it's
to
too
build
soon.
brands, so
Was his back injury a shoot or
who's?
Kalisto?
No, it was a shoot.
It was a shoot.
Yeah, because he's injured, but he's perfectly fine for this Sunday.
Yeah, he'll go flying around doing all the spots. And get
Also,
pinned.
rumor going around that they want to get like a female partner for Kalisto.
Oh,
to
nice.
Try to, I guess, prolong the Rusev Lana, because they want to get Lana back in the ring.
Yeah,
So
she's
who
doing some
knows?
house
Maybe
shows.
maybe Rusev win, and maybe they'll have Kalisto versus Rusev a lot. But
Maybe.
it's kind of a shame.
I hope not.
But the U.S. titles is kind of nobody cares about it.
Yeah, no, and Kalisto doesn't do anything to carry it because he can't really talk on the mic. I mean, he's a good worker, but nobody really gets behind him one way or the other.
Even in John Cena's hands, nobody cared about the title. So.
That's not true.
Because nobody cared about that title.
The only time the title was relevant was when Cena had it with the U.S. Open Challenge. That was great stuff,
and
man.
He just beat everybody week after week. So.
But you still got to see some guys like Sami Zayn come out. You got Zack Ryder getting a shot. I thought that was great.
I don't think it'll never get what it deserves because it wasn't a WWE product, and we all know Vince's history.
True.
True. I didn't create this, so I don't like it.
True.
So.
True. Very true. Kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. Until Jerry Jones dies, they're going to be stuck in mediocrity, just like the WWE. Until Vince dies or whatever happens, they're going to be stuck in mediocrity.
Yeah, it's not a Vince creation, so he's not going to get behind it.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right, moving on. The WWE Tag Team Title match, The New Day versus the Vaudevillains. What did you guys think of that segment on Raw with the time machine?
Genius.
I thought it was pretty good too.
I think New Day's doing everything they can to carry the Vaudevillains. I think it's a niche gimmick that needs time to grow on people, but they're not giving them time to grow on people.
And they won't.
And I think they just get buried. But this juggernaut of the New Day is going to bury everybody unless they can hang with them.
The only thing I didn't like, I feel like they could have done a little bit better job. They did the Kofi thing where he came back as the Jamaican, whatever. But they could have kept that going a little longer. They kind of cut it off, and then they did the random, like, back in the 40s thing with, like, the Vaudevillains or whatever. But it was funny as heck. I just think they could have gone a little bit further with it. Nate, who do you got? Anyways, I got New Day going over easily on this one.
I hate to say this, but I think it's going to be the Vaudevillains winning. Because New Day has been the champs since SummerSlam of last year. And I think the Vaudevillains will just take the title.
Yeah, people keep saying, like, oh, was it a payback that Enzo and Cass were supposed to win, but they weren't actually supposed to win.
Yeah.
The Dudleys were supposed to interfere. And the Vaudevillains versus New Day was the original plan all along. So.
Yeah.
I think Nate's right on this one. If they want to prolong it through the summer, they're going to need the Vaudevillains to win here.
Next up, moving on, we have the Usos versus and I'm not going to call them the club. They're the Bullet Club. Just call it what it is. They're the Bullet Club.
Are you calling them the family or the bloodline?
They're just the Bullet Club.
No, I mean the other one. You going with the family or going with the bloodline?
They're just the Usos. I don't care about them at all.
The Usos and some guy who eats cereal.
Yeah, pretty much. I really feel like they need to start establishing the Bullet Club as the group, the faction that they should be, this unstoppable force. They came in and they jumped the Usos, and it was almost like that NWO thing. I'm like, yes, they're finally going to do something right. You know, get AJ in there, get Balor in there, somebody, but they just have made them almost jobbers. But they really have only had, two actual matches?
Yeah.
So I think this is the time to really start to establish them as a solid tag team, to give them some credibility to either join Styles or join Balor or whoever to set something up, because if they continue like this, they're gonna end up like in the Social Outcast or something. I mean, it's not gonna work out. So
Superstars.
Yeah.
They're
all on drug
W Network.
suspensions.
Watch it.
Nate,
I got the Bullet Club.
good quote marks.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen this in my own free time on Thursday night SmackDown. It's been boring. It's just disqualification, blah, 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 all that. So this should stop the feud, have AJ win the title, something.
50-50 booking. Nobody wants to put everybody over. So we'll just do a DQ. You'll win this week, you win next week. So.
Yeah, 50-50 booking at its finest. Next up, we have and I forgot to mention, this is a tag tornado match. What the heck is a tornado match?
I think it's like no tagging, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
They just all stay in the ring.
They can just all go in there whenever they want?
Yeah, no tags necessary.
I don't understand.
Nate, okay, so then we have Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho in the Asylum match.
Or I like to call it
what they call it, TNA?
Was it not Full Metal Mayhem or
Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball. There we go. Yeah.
I cannot believe
for as much crap as W fans on TNA sucks,
and they bite them. Yeah. You know, this reminds me. As soon as I saw this, the first thing I thought of was like, did WCW come back? Because this seems like some crap they do with like David Duchovny winning the title on that stupid ramp or whatever. Like, why did they had a freaking the Norman Plant? What's the guy's name? The Plant. What's his name? Phil.
Yeah.
Whatever the Plant's name is, and then they had like the barbed wire bat that was only like a little tiny piece of plywood with barbed wire around it. I mean,
well, people
God, so lame.
Like internet fans, she try and go back to Dean Ambrose's history at CZW. It's
not going to happen. They won't let it.
He does like light bulbs and barbed wire and stuff like that. So maybe potentially, but it's not going to happen.
No,
it's not going to happen.
It's not. I see Ambrose winning just because, again, 50-50 booking, but also because I think they're trying to push him into maybe, like I've been saying for a while, like a triple threat title match of some sort with the Shield coming back. But I have literally zero interest in this because you guys all know we've been talking about it. They're not going to let him use any of those weapons.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a clean pin by Ambrose probably.
Well, this whole pay-per-view is
zero weapons.
The joke to begin with.
It really
Extreme
is.
Rules.
It really is. Nate, what do you think, bud?
I don't really understand how you win this match. You can't escape. There's no ref in there. How do you win?
I don't know.
Does the ref count from out of the asylum or whatever?
We'll find out how bad it is when we watch it live.
Yeah.
But I got Jericho.
You know, it's funny because the last time we had our wrestling preview was for Payback, and we were like, oh, this is going to be great. They're finally going to come back, and it sucked.
Watch this one be super awesome.
That's what I was just going to say. So this one, we're like, oh, this is going to be crap, blah, blah. It's going to be the best pay-per-view in 10 years. Who knows? Let's hope so, because other than Game of Thrones, that's my entertainment for the evening. Next up, we have the Intercontinental 4-Way match. That's probably the match that I'm most excited about, just because three out of the four guys in the match I'm completely marking out for, especially Kevin Owens, man. You guys can hate all you want, but you better get comfortable with it because Kevin Owens is the future of WWE. Finally, Vince, I've been seeing on some of the cheat sheets that Vince is finally starting to get behind Kevin Owens, and they're going to give him a main event push, which I'm like, finally.
He's the only guy that hasn't got lost in the shuffle that got moved up.
Yeah.
Everybody else has got lost in the shuffle except for him.
Because he's money.
I think in-ring performers, I think Neville's better.
Oh, my God. You are insane.
I think Tyler Breeze is a better gimmick. Tyler Breeze could probably hang up with him match for match, but, I mean, honestly, it's because he's active on Twitter. That's it.
No, it's not just that. It's that he's just got that tough guy persona that they need. He's not too extreme yet, but he's also not a puppy. He's not a kitten. I mean, he's a panda. He's a panda. Exactly.
I don't
he's a fat
see
panda.
It. I mean, I keep looking for it, but I don't see it. But
just keep looking, bro. You'll find it.
I wasn't a Shawn Michaels fan either, so maybe that's something to do with it.
You know what? I wasn't either, to be honest.
I don't know. I just don't, maybe one of these days, Kevin Owens. But.
So I actually have Zayn winning the title to set up to continue the Zayn versus KO feud. They need to get Miz out of the picture. They need to figure out something out with him. Maybe just have him do the show, the highlight reel. What is this show called?
Something red carpet, something.
Whatever the Miz show. Whatever.
But out of the four, he's the weakest one.
He is, and it was funny because I don't know if you guys saw on Raw, but when Shane came out and they were announcing the match, they were talking about who was going to team with one another, and they cut over to KO. And they told me he was going to team with The Miz, and he goes, he's the worst one. And it was the funniest thing because everybody knows it's true, but he actually said it. I just love that guy. And Cesaro, love watching him perform, but I don't see him as a champion. I see him just as he's almost like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's always going to be there and kind of the mid-card / higher card feud, but he's never really going to get the title.
No, more like Lex Luger probably, right?
But Lex Luger had the championship though.
I think he'll get one or two runs in him, but not long.
He'll never get the main championship.
It's just because not of his own doing, because of people.
And am I the only one? I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I don't like the whole James Bond coming down gimmick. I think that's stupid.
Neither do I. He needs new theme music.
He really does.
Horrible.
Nate, who you got on this?
I got Zayn too. He's probably my favorite out of all of these.
Out of the crowd, he's probably the most over.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Owens is over, but for different reasons.
True. So Zayn, we all have Zayn winning, so I agree there. Next up is the co-main event, Natalya versus Charlotte Flair. And quite frankly, I'm already pissed off about this match because no Ric Flair coming down with his little stretch.
Are you surprised at how much attention this is getting? It got the main event spot on. Well, people were saying because it was mostly for the McMahons to get over. But they're actually using this feud as the co-main event. Do you like that? Or
I do. I don't like Natalya at all. But I am so marking out over Charlotte Flair. I think she's great. I think she's a great performer. I think she's starting to get the heel tactics and heel kind of persona down. To me, she's can't miss TV.
She's good.
I love her entrance. I love that she uses Ric Flair when she needs him, but kind of is starting to almost distance herself a little bit. I think tonight is going to be crucial in that whole thing because Flair not being there, she's going to go over. They're not going to put the title on Natalya. They've already given her 27 chances. So, this will be the chance for her to win without Rick there, and I think that'll be kind of the point where they start to break her off, and maybe as a heel to break her off from Flair, who everybody obviously still loves.
What about you, Nate? Do you like the women's division?
Yeah,
You know?
I do. I just like Sasha Banks.
Yeah, where is Sasha?
She's injured. She got
That's a
injured
good
at
point of view
house
from
show.
Nate. You know, the young kids. We want to see what the young kids actually like. Because
Supposedly Bailey's supposed to come up pretty soon, so.
Not a fan of Bailey.
Because growing up, we just had Alundra Blaze. That was about it.
Yeah, Lundra Blaze, Sunny, but she never wrestled. She was just,
And then China wrestled. So
R.I.P.
It's cool to see the kids' perspective nowadays.
So Sasha's your favorite female performer, Nate?
Yeah, and this is a submission match. By
Oh,
the
that's
way.
right. Thank you. Yeah, it is. So who do you have winning, Nate?
I have Natalia winning.
Oh.
But, what the heck? Actually, to go back on the Bailey thing, she's gonna come out and do her finisher on either Natalia or Flair, something like that.
So you have a surprise entrance from
Yeah.
Bailey today?
Nice.
Maybe even Paige.
Paige.
No thanks. Moving on. She's dating Alberto Del Rio. She's married now.
busy tonight, bro.
That is the weirdest matchup ever.
Don't be hating, bro.
I feel like
Another
it.
win for,
The Mexicans right there.
community.
Call it what you want. I wouldn't call it a win. I mean,
Trolls
she's
like crazy.
that's wow. Anyway, moving on to the main event. Ugh. The chump, the man that will not be named because I don't want him to get any exposure at all because I want him to just go away, versus the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. We all know how it's going to end. The chump's going to win. He's going to retain his title, whether it be DQ by somebody interfering. They'll still do a DQ. It's WWE. They don't give a crap. So, yeah, the chump wins again. He continues to bore our lives and make the Raw unwatchable for the 20 minutes that he's featured at any given time. I'm praying for some sort of interference from freaking Balor. I don't care, man. Send out freaking Brooklyn Brawler. I don't care. Even though he just got released. Send him out. Send him back out. Anybody but this guy getting more attention. You know, all these injuries that are happening. Orton. Who else has been injured right now? Rollins. All these guys are injured. Why aren't they happening to Reigns, man? Let him go on the show for a while.
Because he has that bulletproof vest on. That's why.
Oh, the bulletproof vest protects him? Okay,
Yeah.
that must be it. But yeah, he's awful. Can't listen to him, can't watch him. His shirts suck. He just sucks.
With Roman Reigns on top, almost every single wrestler has gotten injured.
That's
so
true.
If he's down, then everybody comes back,
Yeah.
and then, yeah.
WWE needs to hire Nate early.
I'm going with Reigns on this one just because I don't want AJ's title reign, his first one, to be short one. Because with Rollins, Orton, and Cena all on the verge of coming back, and Bray Wyatt, they're gonna give it to Cena or Rollins back again. So I'd rather have Reigns retain than have him feud with one of those guys. And
I heard that Orton is not coming. His injury is not progressing as planned. He's taking longer. So you guys hear about that?
No.
Nate?
No. I just heard that early June you're expecting everybody back.
Yeah, well, early June is Rollins because he's ready to come back, but he's doing a movie right now. But Cena's supposed to come back Monday on Memorial Day.
Bray Wyatt's supposed to come back too.
Oh man, they need to give him some run.
So yeah.
All right, well, hey, Alex, forgot to mention Alex from at 5 Round MMA joining us this morning for our WWE Extreme Rules take. We want to give a couple of shout-outs, a couple of thank yous real quick this morning before we sign off. We want to thank Parker Boudreaux, Notre Dame offensive lineman, commit for all of his support. Can't wait to see you on campus. Tyler Luatua, the tight end from Notre Dame that had said he was going to transfer to BYU, is now back. We're very excited to have you back, Tyler. Thanks for coming back. We can't wait to see you on the field. And our sponsors, 5 Round MMA, for letting us use their studio once again and jumping on to the WWE segment. Alex, Albert, and Guillermo do a great job. They have a special guest. What's the guest you have today?
Rick Boomer Rieger, Bellator lightweight.
Rick Boomer Rieger from Bellator. So they're going to get some new guests coming on. Any MMA news, they're your source. So check out at 5 Round MMA. And, of course, check us out at Dos Leprechauns. Also want to give a shout-out to our other WWE podcast buddies, Blaze Malfunsky. Check them out on Twitter as well. They do a great job. They have a live show, which I think we should try to do sometime together. Yep. They have a live show where you can actually interact, and they do a great job. Really cool, funny guys, and pretty good insight, too. So shout-out to Blaze and Malfunsky's podcast. And then finally, our other sponsor, Right Time Home Heating Service and Air. Bob McGinnis, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate that. And with that, I'm going to give it to Nate to sign us off.
Bye. Leprechaun Nate out.
All right, follow us at Dos Leprechauns. Everybody have a great week.
Now meet the legend that is us Notre Dame. We stand together and that's not gonna change. We're family.